It is Indiana in the Morning on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. You know, we are in the midst, right in the middle of wildfire season, brush fire season here in Indiana County. There have been 26 so far in the calendar year, 84 in the calendar year last year. So very, very common, especially at this time of the year. We want to talk about that this morning with Michelle Steinberg. She is the director of the Wildfire Division at the National Fire Protection Association. And coming up on Saturday, it is Wildfire Community Preparedness Day all across the nation. And Michelle, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you with us. You heard those numbers from Indiana County, and they're not uncommon, are they? This is the season.
Right. This is the season. I happen to live in New England in Massachusetts, and often when we've had a heavy winter and rainy season, people can hardly believe that we get wildfires in this area, but they absolutely happen. It just takes a few days of sun that we are craving. The leaves haven't come out on the trees where we are yet, and so the solar heating to the ground is getting all those leaves and debris from the winter heated up, and it just takes a little ignition and a little wind to start a fire. And so we really need people to be aware of those conditions and to do what they can to prepare their homes and neighborhoods.
All right, which is the whole idea behind Wildfire Community Preparedness Day. What happens on Saturday?
That's right. That's right. So Saturday, every first Saturday in May, so this year May 2nd, is Wildfire Community Preparedness Day in the U.S. and Canada. And this is an opportunity for folks to get together, do some projects around homes, or maybe help neighbors that need the assistance to clear out any debris and brush, maybe make some simple home repairs that will help your home resist an ignition from a wildfire when it happens.
Saturday's event is co-sponsored by the National Fire Protection Association and by State Farm. It's an annual one-day campaign. And so we get into, obviously, educational programs are a very big part of this. What can people do, Michelle, to actually protect their homes when there is such a high risk of fire?
Right. So it's really surprising to people that something as frightening as a wildfire can be addressed through these kinds of measures, that people say, gee, it feels just like a little housekeeping that we have to do. And often that's the case, is looking at the home, making sure your roof is in good condition, that you don't have any ripped screens, you don't have any open vents where embers could blow in, or embers can pile up around your home. You want to make sure there's nothing that can burn right near the home. Embers are the little pieces of burning material that come off a wildfire, so you don't even have to be near a large flame to have an impact from a wildfire in your area. And so doing those simple things really keeps your home from igniting.
Now, there's something called a home ignition zone. What is that?
Right. So that's a bit of what I was describing. That's a term that researchers came up with to describe what we should be doing and what we should be looking at to prevent homes igniting. And they realized that the condition of the home and the condition of everything around it within just 100 feet or even less is going to dictate whether that home ignites. And if it doesn't ignite, it doesn't burn. So we want neighbors to work together. Often people don't have that 100 feet between homes. So in other words, if one home were to start burning, it would affect the other home. So that's where we can do some prevention work together along, say, fence lines to make sure that you don't have anything that could ignite the fence. Looking at any, like I say, open screens or openings that could let embers in. And focusing, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about the first 5 feet. That is part of the home ignition zone, but more and more, that's becoming an area that we're focusing on because research is showing us that's a huge difference for people. And the reason is, if you look around after the winter and there's a lot of material that's blown up against the side of the house, leaves, pine needles, that's exactly where the embers will go. And those are the areas you pay the most attention to. You just don't want any flame or embers right within that 5-foot zone. That's where your house could suffer that ignition.
Absolutely could. Michelle, one of the things that is common around our parts is people burning the materials from last fall. The leaves that are still left over, the dry grasses and everything, they get those raked up. They want the place to look nice, but then they make the mistake of lighting them on fire to get rid of them, and that can be really, really dangerous.
Sure, and that's something we always recommend that folks talk to their local fire department, check their website, give them a call to find out if you need a permit to burn. That's very common, that you actually do need a permission to do this, because if your neighbors see smoke, they're probably going to call the fire department anyway if you're burning your pile. And there's some places, around that, some jurisdictions that never allow burning because you're in a very dense urban area, for example. So you really want to be educated on when is an okay time to burn. Is there a burn ban? Because we have conditions like windy days that could bring my burning material to somebody else's property and cause damage. So we just want to be aware and be safe. There's a lot of good information about how to be safer at nfpa.org, our main organization website.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the big things that we probably don't understand as well as we should, and you certainly can help us understand it, is the effect of wind and how quickly a shifting wind can cause a real problem.
Yes, I think that the wind is the thing that we just cannot control, and that is what we really try to stay aware of with the weather. So if you're experiencing, it doesn't even have to be necessarily super hot out, but a period of warm, dry, windy weather, even a short period in this time of the year in the spring in sort of the northeastern U.S., this is the time of year we typically do get fires, because this is when the ground can heat up before the leaves come out. This is the dangerous little period that we have. So, and then you get a bit of a wind or a wind change that can really move a fire extremely fast, faster than people can run, faster than firefighters can put it out. So this is why we ask people to get prepared well ahead of these fires.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we saw the real example of that last year in Los Angeles. Entire portions of cities went up in a matter of moments.
Right, and one of the things that's hard for us to contemplate is that if our structure has any combustibility at all, if it's wood siding, wood shake, etc., if there's a little opening and a little vulnerability, that our homes become fuel for the fire, and that's the sad thing that happened in LA and has happened in other places around the U.S. is once the fire is into the buildings, our buildings are usually close enough that they're going to affect each other, and you're going to have what we call an urban conflagration, meaning the fire moves from structure to structure. Now that instead of the trees being the fuel, the homes are the fuel. That's what we want to avoid, and that's why we are so excited about things like Wildfire Community Preparedness Day that helps people get ahead of these kinds of situations.
Well, that day is coming up on Saturday. Michelle, where are we going to learn more about the Wildfire Division of the NFPA and about Fire Preparation Day?
We'd love for people to go visit wildfireprepday.org. That's on our main website. That will give you all the tips and tools you need to have a successful event. If you're not going to do it on the day, that's okay. We would really encourage people to do this all year round, anytime that makes sense for them.
Beautiful. Michelle, thanks so much for spending some time with us today. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
She is Michelle Steinberg, the director of the Wildfire Division of the Wildfire Community National Fire Protection Association. My goodness, my eyes aren't focusing here today. It's Indiana in the Morning on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCS Radio.